Okay, hopefully this volume works. I'm trying a new camera today, but my name is Gavin Weber. This is Dissolving the Illusion, and right now, today is November 6th, 2020, the infamous 2020, and the election's going on still. 3 days, today's Friday, Tuesday, 3 days after, and no apparent winner yet, right? So you might relate to this. It's been an interesting week of a lot of different emotions, a lot of stuff coming up. And I've had to work extremely hard to stay in a good place and to be conscious of my feelings, of my beliefs, and a lot of the things that A Course in Miracles teaches. So today I just want to go through that and hopefully help you, if you're a course student or you're a spiritual student or whatever, work through this process that is called the election. And so I'm just going to share some things I've done, share some thoughts, and we'll see where we're at. So welcome again. Again, my name is Gavin Weber. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's called Dissolving the Illusion. I have a few posts a week and would love for you to subscribe if this is your first time here. But let's get into the election. So the night of the election, we all knew this was going to be crazy, all right? We knew it was going to be tight. That alone is unbelievable, unreal. I'm not here to... I'm going to do my best of not giving my opinion of whatever side you're on, who I voted for, because really, in the end, for what this video is about, for what A Course in Miracles teaches, and for our happiness and discovering who we are and awakening and the atonement, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who the president is. And our mind, our ego fights that so hard, right? We want to think the guy we think who deserves it should be in there. And here's what's happening on both sides. Like, I've participated in this, but people think that who they voted for, that their reasons, their story, their validations are correct and that they're right. And therefore, in that belief system, everybody else is wrong and stupid and doesn't understand. And how could they vote for the other person? It's unbelievable, right? Like, wow, I feel like I could give the talking points of both sides, of both Democrats and Republicans. And, I had a discussion with my sister the other day. The hardest part for me in this illusion and to watch this is the hypocrisy. That whatever side you're on, if the other candidate would do or has done the same things that what you may be unhappy and the other candidate is doing, there would be so much outrage. It would be unbelievable, okay? And that's the part that's like, that I really look at and pay attention to, that like everybody wants to be right. And people aren't willing to look at like the whole picture, and they do from a psychology perspective, what's called cognitive dissonance. They ignore the things they don't want to look at in their candidate, and they rationalize and justify and validate why the behavior, the actions of their candidate is appropriate and that they should be doing it because they want that candidate to win. They want to believe in that, and therefore their mind is able to come up with reasons to justify it on both sides. And, when you really look at this from a different perspective and try to look at it from like a bird's eye view, everybody's wrong, period. And when I mean everybody's wrong is that, the truth and the facts of what we see with our eyes and what we think is going on, and voter fraud or whatever you want to, focus on, there could be some degrees of truth there. Oftentimes there's not, and I shouldn't even brought up voter fraud, but like our minds look for any reason to validate our opinion. And let's look deeper. What's going on there? It's because we feel weak. We feel fear. We feel hopeless. And by thinking that our candidate has the answers and is the person that's going to solve our problems and be our savior and our salvation and make us happy, like, we're going to come up with reasons to make us think that that we're right, and that all those things that, like, most of what they're doing makes sense to us, because internally not feeling all that great about ourselves. And I'll just, I can speak about that, personally, that it's not fun to like think, oh, like, I have fear, right? It's like, no, I don't want to go there. So on this subject and on this subject and on this subject, I'm right and they're wrong. But why do you have to be right? If you were good with where you're at, if you were good with who you are, if you knew your connection to love and to peace and to joy, who cares what your candidate says? Who cares what any candidate says? Who cares who's president? Because you've been able in that instance to focus on what's important. That this world we think we're seeing is a projection of our belief system, and that it's an illusion, and that what matters is that we remember and that we forgive the world for what we think is happening, and come back and over and over and over and over and over choose to see love in the world, in our brothers and our sisters, in the people who didn't vote the same way we did, in the people who voted the same way we did, that we're able to change our mind regardless of what our eyes see about that person, and see truth in them, truth of love, truth of God, truth of oneness, not truth of what their opinion is about the election. And when we're able to do that, the fear dissipates, because we realize all the things, the money, the party, the politics, it doesn't matter, because we know our source is within us. It's in our mind. And as our mind, not our ego, but as our mind, the truth of who we really are, starts to win that battle, what's really cool, the illusion gets dissolved. It starts dissipating. We don't judge as much or at all. We don't attack people. We don't, make other people wrong to make ourselves feel better. It's not necessary. It's a waste of time. It's a joke. It's like, whatever. Like, if you think, whatever you think about your candidate, like, I don't care. It's good. Whatever. It's wonderful. It's not gonna it's no impact whatsoever on the truth of true reality. In this world, this election, what's happening in this country, what we think is going on, is not the real world. It's an illusion and a dream and a nightmare that we participate in over and over. And I'm doing this video because I have fallen into the trap. I stopped going to Facebook. Facebook's just like a cesspool of negativity, and everybody just screams at like this, I'm right, and this is why, and look at this article, and look what this guy said, and look what this, and this false evidence all over the place, not fake news, but just like substantiating their point of view. And guess what? If you need to substantiate your point of view in the perception world, in this physical world that you think is accurate, you're missing the whole boat. And I've done it. And that's what I used to do. I mean, the other day on Instagram, I feel like I've whittled it down. It's like really positive. My Instagram feed is really positive. I'm just loving, accepting, open-minded people. And I came across this, person who's like about love, and like they were just, going off, and like it really struck a chord. I was just like, how can this person, her posts about love and stuff, and then just make all these accusations and attack and like go to fear? And so I almost commented. I almost fell into the trap. I almost made what she was saying real and forgot and didn't practice forgiveness. And so I've learned, before you post and hit return, really think about it. It's is this the vibration? Is this the energy is this what I want to come from? And I sat with it for a few minutes and I meditated. And instead I was just like, I'm just going to send her love. Like, that's her perspective. And my perception of her is still judgmental. And in a way that I think is like sharing, I'm just going to like make her wrong and like attack her. And in this moment, I can return to my right mind. I can dissolve the error that I'm thinking about her. I can send her love. I can see her as me, as God, as love. And as I did that, afterwards, I was just like, I dodged that. And yes, I have been watching the news and just like, the things that are going on, again, whether or not, like which way, the outrage that you stand on, whether or not you're on the outrage that like, you believe that there's like fraud, or the outrage that a president is claiming fraud without any evidence, right? Like whichever fence you're on, it's easy to just get caught up in that and get mad. And then we wonder like why our life isn't peaceful or joyful, or that we're not happy, because we're constantly attacking and participating in something that's like just whatever. I mean, one of the things I try to remind myself on, it sounds morbid, but like we're all gonna die. We don't know when. Could be when, minutes, hours, days, years. And I don't think we would care who the president is in that moment. I don't think we would rest our like peace of mind on who the president is. And that whatever subject of abortion or guns or healthcare or taxes, like, I mean, we use all these things. Politics is the best, I mean, not the best, but like one of the most important ego topics to distract ourselves from truth, from love. Not the truth of like, no, I'm right because like taxes are bad, or like I should be able to have guns, or whatever that is. Like, that's a distraction. Like the truth is like, who are you? What's within you? What do you see in the world? Do you see love or do you see hate? And the election is just like a barometer of the hate that's obviously out there. And I can keep pointing fingers of like to people like, oh, you need to change your hate. That's not going to get me anywhere, because that's my perception. I notice a lot of hate. And as I forgive and as I send love to the people who I think disagree with me and who I think are wrong, then I'm dissolving the illusion. I'm getting back in touch with truth. I'm seeing for them for who they really are, not as how my mind makes them show up. I'm sending to love to Trump. I'm sending love to Biden. Not for either of them because of like their principles, but because they're my brother, because we're all one. And never in a million years would I ever consider bearing arms to cause either of them harm or to wish them ill will. I have had negative thoughts. My wife and I have we're embarrassed at times. Like we've, like if you really think about it, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so wrong. And I just, I wish bad karma on them. And I wish that the truth would come out and they would have their day in court and blah, 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 blah. For what I just said, you can say that about either candidate, depending on what side you think you're on. But there's no sides. And I used to 10, 15 years ago, I was like one of those people, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to go out there and, just show all these people who don't get it that they're missing it and change their mind. And then I'm going to be the one to change the world. And so the mindset with that belief was that other people needed to change and that I had it figured out. And as life will teach me, and as I've dove into A Course in Miracles, there's nothing wrong out there. Like me going to change this false error-prone world that I have created and bought into, and somehow rearrange the chairs in this system that is just a bunch of horseshit, it doesn't make any sense. The change comes from within my mind about the world. The change comes from in my heart and in how I feel about myself and how I view the connection and that love and that oneness in other people, and forgive anything else that's to the contrary of love. Only love is real. Everything else is a complete illusion that I've been taught, that I've bought into, and that at some level I've wanted to perpetuate because I'm angry at feeling separated. I'm angry for not having the answers. I'm angry for not being happy. I'm angry for a lack of abundance. I'm angry for all these different things that I don't want to look at. So I project it out into the world, thinking then some way, if I can convince enough other people to believe my way, I'll change the world. It doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work that way. There is no world out there like that. It's all a world of my creation. And that's the path of the Course in Miracles. And yes, there have been unbelievable miracles that I'll share on future videos. But like my prayers, my meditations right now is for the highest good. I'm starting to understand I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know the best way. So who am I to judge, to think like which candidate should win? I trust that as I come back into my true reality and my truth and the love of who I am and my connection with God, that it is in the process of unfolding perfectly. And there's nothing I have to do or make happen or yell at or force for that to be the case. So I share all this with you in that you're probably going through the same emotions, the same up and downs, the same battles of wanting to participate in the illusion and make other people wrong. You know, even within my family, we all disagree on this topic. We all disagree on, like, when I say topic, the election. And it's hard for me. Like, I judge them. Like, I can't believe you would vote for that person. And I'm sure in a lot of ways they think the same thing. Like, oh, Gavin just doesn't get it. He's, and that's what everybody does. And guess what? We all don't get it. It's true. We don't get it because we've lost sight of who the other person is. It doesn't matter if you voted red or blue. It doesn't matter if you didn't vote. It matters that I see you as love. It matters of like how I want to respond to you, how I want to connect with you, how I want to join and heal with my fellow brothers and sisters. And if I'm attacking you and if I'm judging you, I'm participating in a distraction. It's not happening. So, meditate, pray, not for what you think is the best outcome. Don't participate in that illusion and get caught into that, because you're just going to get back to the validation game and the justification game and the right game. But go within and do your part in creating miracles and see other people as not wrong. See people as connected to God. Because as you see your brother, your sister, your friend, your mom, your coworker, your boss, any person you can name, so shall you see yourself. And as you, heal what you see in them, you're healing yourself. It's just a projection of your beliefs. And it can be ugly. It's not always fun. It's not always a journey that seems like you're making a lot of advancements or that it's matter. But as you continue, and I've seen this so much, I've seen this in the last few days, like, you can be happy during a pandemic. You can be happy during an election that doesn't go your way, because none of that matters towards your happipness, and you'll prove it to yourself. Watch what will happen when somebody who pushes your buttons and you send them love. If you want to say nice things to their face, but just send them love. Like, work through the problems you have in them. And the next time you're around this person, you're going to see a change in behavior. Did they change, or did your perception about them change? It's craziness. It's all madness. And how we change the world is to dissolve that madness. And for me, A Course in Miracles is that answer. So I just wanted to share my viewpoints on the election. I wanted to share how I'm working through it. I wanted to share how I'm trying to heal within me of what I think is wrong in other people who didn't vote the way I wanted them to or think they should. And this, these videos are my reminder of the truth that I'm seeking. And I send my love to you. I send my support. If you have a question, leave a comment. If you have a comment, you agree or disagree, I would love to hear from you. It's all good. And I'm not here to be right. I'm here to share, and I'm here to, go through this process publicly and get out of my shell and help however I can. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I've got it all figured out and I'm right. Yet, A Course in Miracles teaches us that we have to let go of the judgments and the attacks. We have to forgive, and forgive from the perspective of not that they're wrong. Oh, look at them. They're so petty or stupid, or they've been duped. So I'm going to forgive them for being wrong and love them anyways. That's not forgiveness. It's the forgiveness that what we've perceived in them isn't even accurate. It's not truth. It's not who they are. And that we choose to see them as a child of God, as one with them, and that we're all the same. And that we return to that perfection. That's forgiveness. And that's the process. And that dissolves the illusion. So hopefully I'm trying a new camera today. Hopefully the quality of the sound was good. I've done other videos, but like I said in my last video, I want to make this as easy as possible, because where I get stuck is having to edit and all this stuff. So now I'm just boom, popping it on, going with it. So stay calm, stay peaceful, bring love, help remind other people. If they're in rage or they're mad or they're frustrated, allow them to be there. You don't need to go change their mind. Feel free to share how you're trying to come from this and come from love and maybe share a different perspective, but don't try to get caught in the battle of being right and why they should feel better about your candidate. It's not worth it. It's not going to help. It's not healing. There's going to be some unrest that happens here, whether either side. There's going to be unhappy people. The healing is taking place in this world, whether we want to see it or not, and our journey, our process is to be a part of that healing in a peaceful, loving way. As Jesus has done, as he teaches, never would he ever agree with any violence. Never would he ever make anybody else wrong or be mightier than them. So there's no need to ever come from that from us, and it doesn't help. It only adds to the hate, to the fear. So if you're watching this now or in the future, sending my love, sending my prayers, sending my remembrance that all is well, and that you in this moment can go within and choose peace and happiness, and then watch what happens. You'll be able to watch the news and be like, oh my gosh, this is craziness, without getting sucked into the distraction of the ego. All right, thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.